Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing a flip through of my completed personal journal with you. I'm so excited to have finally finished working in here. I've been in this journal for such a long time and I'm definitely ready to move into a new one. So I made this journal. I have lots of videos up on my channel using this journal, and I have a flip through of the journal before I started using it. I go into more detail of how I made it and things like that in that video, so I will link that down in the description box for you. So here is a look at the journal. It's very chunky and very heavy, and towards the end it became very difficult to work in. So on the first page of the journal, I just kept it really simple. I added a little glassine envelope and added a little journaling card inside that I cut down to size. And I wrote 2020 and 2019 on it. Most of the pages in this journal are from 2020 and some of them are from 2019. On the back, I just wrote when I started and finished the journal. So I was in this journal on and off for about 2 years. So the next few pages document a trip to London to celebrate my husband's birthday, and I've documented these in a chronological order. Usually when I journal, I just like to jump around and choose a page to work on that I think works best for what I'm documenting. But when we go away for a few days, I do like to try and keep things in order. So we started our trip with some lunch at Cakes and Bubbles. This is a coaster I took from the premise and I just backed it onto this gold glittery doily. I've added some photos into a Project Life sleeve and attached the receipt on the back, which as you can see is already fading. I also added some journaling on a vintage linen. This is from Little Bindi, who has now rebranded as Johanna Alyssa. This here is a photo frame greeting card and I just slipped a photo of my husband in there. And then on the back is a journaling card and I just coloured in 3 and 9 to represent his 39th birthday. And then we went to go and see a matinee performance of Thriller Live, which we didn't think was very good, and I just added some photos and a little bit of writing. And then on the back of that page there was a pocket, so I just slipped in the tickets. And then in the evening we went out to the Ivy for dinner, and in this top pocket there's just some photos and the receipt. And then I also attached a business card to the pocket as well. And then I just added some journaling on top of this vintage linen. And then these pages document where we stayed, and we were a little bit early so we couldn't check in, but they did keep our bags for us. So these luggage tags were attached to the bag, so I've just stapled them into my journal. And then you know when sometimes you stay in a hotel they have some notepaper and a pen, I just took a piece of the paper to bring home and added some journaling on top of. I also took the postcard, and then I was planning on doing some journaling on the back, but I never did. So the hotel did have a cat called Sir Godfrey, so I managed to get a picture of him. And then in this pocket is just some more photos. So there's a picture of the bed and the toilet. So we thought the toilet was quite funny because it's in the shape of a throne. And then this place just documents the place we went for dinner. This isn't related to the previous page. And I just got the receipt, some photos and a business card. And then I added some journaling on a vintage linen. This is one of mine. I have 4 vintage linen packs in my Etsy shop, so I will leave a link to that in the description box for you. And then I just added a photo of Starbuck on this page. And then these next few pages document a trip away to celebrate our anniversary. So there's quite a few pages here, and I actually have journal process videos up on my channel showing, I think, how all of these pages came together. So I've just done some journaling on a vintage linen, and then we went to this little marketplace and got some brownies. So this is, I think, from the lid from the top of the box, and I've just used it as a fold out. And then I've added some journaling on some vintage ledger paper, decorated the page with some stickers. And then this here is a little Tim Holtz piece that I stapled down to the page. And then in this pocket is a photo of all the items I thrifted in the charity shops. And then these pages just hold a lot of the hotel ephemera. So there's a leaflet, and then we had some more documents from them stating when we were going to have dinner. This little piece here held our room key, and it just folds out, and I just added some journaling inside. We stayed at a lovely place called Cowcott Manor, and I just added a photo of it here. This was some packaging from a fountain pen that my husband got me as a little anniversary gift. And then I created a little pocket over here. This is the back of that greeting card photo frame. And there's just some photos of the food that we ate. We had to eat at the hotel all the time because it was still during COVID times. I just attached the receipt to the back of there and did some more journaling on a card. And then again, there's some more documentation from the hotel, and then this was the map that they gave us. So this was the grounds, and we did actually do a walk. We did the trim trail, which was 13, so that was up there. So I thought that was really cool to keep. These next couple of pages document a trip out to Kearney Gardens. This vintage linen here you can get for free if you sign up to my newsletter. I think you get this linen, and this one as well. And I will leave a link to how you can sign up for my newsletter in the description box. So Kearney Gardens had a map that we could have. And then I had this little scrapbook paper fold out in my stash, and I just attached a couple of photos and added some writing, and then slipped it into a pocket. And then this is a tea-dyed envelope. This was part of the leaflet. This was also part of the leaflet, as was this, and I just cut it down so I didn't have the whole thing in my journal. And then I spelled favourite with a washi tape. I think it was from the washi tape shop. And then there's just some photos of the sunflowers and also pumpkins. And then this still documents Kearney Gardens, so there's some paperwork here. And then again, I wrote on one of my vintage linens, and then I used this little paper bag as a pocket for a little photo. And then I managed to find a little business card there, and then that's me and my husband on our anniversary. And then after Kearney Gardens, we visited Cirencester. So there's just some photos, some writing on a vintage linen, and then in this envelope there's a couple more photos. And that just slips into this little tuck spot. And then this is a tea-dyed paper bag. And I've just added a photo of the game that we were playing in the evening, a receipt, and I added some photos to the back of a journaling card. And then to document the end of our trip, I just added a picture of the hotel, and this little sticker was on a paper bag that had some sweets in. And then here is just a little picture of Starbucks looking at my husband's coffee machine. And then this spread was for a collaboration. The prompt was gift, and I've just added some journaling in the paper bag pocket. And then I added a vintage playing card with a brad and just decorated the page with some little journaling bits and pieces and a tag. And then in this envelope there's just a couple of photos. And then I also included the note from my mum in the pocket. And then this is a page you would have seen recently. It's the last process video in this journal, and this was in collaboration with Meg Journals and Get Messy. My prompt was tickets and tags. So I've got some tickets from a National Trust property that we visited. I've got the leaflet from the National Trust property. And what I love about this leaflet is it's attached in so that you can fold it out and read everything on the leaflet. But I also like the fact it acts as a double pocket. So I added some double-sided tape at the top and the bottom, and at the bottom here, and then I also added a little strip here so that I could have 2 pockets, and in the pockets there's just a couple of photos on some tags. Oops. And they just slip into the pocket. And then I used this tag here as a pocket as well, and I just added some journaling, and on the back is a little wrapper of a chocolate that we had in our picnic, and I've just added the receipt from the National Trust property because I bought a book there. And then on this page I just documented my first journal collection, and I added some journaling on this bit of paper here. This was vintage leisure paper and it just slips into the top pocket. And then again I used that washi roll from the washi tape shop to add some alphas to spell out my shop name, which is Chapter 8. So in case you're wondering why my Etsy shop is called Chapter 8, it's because I was born in August, and also you get chapters in books, and because I make journals and they look like books, I just thought it was a really good fit, so that's why I decided to name my Etsy shop Chapter 8. The next few pages document the making and painting of my craft cabinet. My father-in-law made it for me, and I actually have a process video of how these pages came together. So I think this was for the Junk Journal January collaboration, and my prompt was folded. So this is my craft cabinet. My father-in-law made it from scratch and I then went ahead and painted it. This is another piece from Tim Holtz. And then in this fold out there's lots of photos that my father-in-law David sent to me to show me the making of the craft cabinet. So he's got the wood, and then there's him in his workshop putting it all together, and then with the back and the shells, and it really felt like I was part of the process. And then this background is from a brochure. I think I got it when I bought the paint, so I thought that made a really nice background, and then I just highlighted the paint that I used. And then here I've just documented the painting of the cabinet, so it took several days and several layers to get it fully covered, and I just journaled straight on the page. Over here is some more ephemera from the brochure, and I used this piece to create a pocket. So I primed my cabinet and I also used this paint on it. And then on the back I just added some journaling on top of a vintage linen, and then in the envelope I've just got some more documents. So this was what I was basing my cabinet on. I've seen a lot of craft rooms and people in America with things like this in their craft room. So this is what I sent over to David. So this is my design and I added all the measurements. So he used this as a guide and then he built the cabinet from this, and now it's proudly in my craft room. These next couple of pages document meal out. So this is one of my vintage linens that I just journaled straight on top of. I've got a ticket from the car park, and then over here there's a pocket with some photos. And then I just added some more journaling on a journal card and decorated the page a little bit, and some photos of Bristol Harbour. So here is an example of a couple of pages that were left in my journal. So over here I just added in some packaging from some snacks, and then over here I've got this brown page that has been trimmed, and also this page here. So I just stuck the brown one and this one together, and then I just decorated it with a bit of washi tape that was on some packaging and some stars. Over here I just added a quote from my sticker books. So these next few pages document a trip out to Portishead. So there's a photo of me here, and then over here I've just documented where we had some lunch. So we sat outside, and this here is a Tim Holtz piece, and I've just stuck the receipt down straight on the page, and then I attached in this envelope as an extra page, and inside the envelope is just some photos of the pier. And then over here is a photo of the marina, and I just think it's so pretty. And then I added some journaling on a vintage linen. This is also one of mine. And then over here I just documented a new little plant I bought for my craft room. It's just a little cactus. So I added some journaling, the receipt. I added an eyelet to the tag that came with the plant. And then I also added this little fabric bow. And then this is a process video that is on my channel. I'm just documenting about one of my cats called Starbuck. And this is from some washi that was on some packaging. I've added some journaling straight down on a journaling card. And this is Starbuck trying to drink from the tap. He's a little bit naughty. And then I added some more journaling to this journal card here. And I think I planned to write some of Starbuck's nicknames on the back, but I never got round to doing that. This here is a vintage playing card. I think it's from the game called Can You Go? Here is Starbuck kind of watching the freezer defrost. He has a thing about water, so I just thought that was super cute. And then this photo of him here is sat in the washing up bowl. And then these few pages here document my husband's birthdays. This was when my husband turned 40, so he had a little donut as a cake. And then I created a pocket with these 2 book pages. This is actually the middle of the signature. And then inside the pocket is just a photo of where we went out for dinner. And then there's some journaling on the back. I just decorated this page with a sticker and a vintage linen. And then I journaled on some scrapbook paper that I stuck down on the page. And then this here is a plastic sleeve. And then over here, I think this was part of another collaboration for pets. This here is some packaging from a paper bag I got in the post, and I just documented the cat sleeping on our sofa. So this here is from a children's book page, and I used it to create a pocket. And these are our 2 cats. So we have Costa and Starbuck. They are brothers and they do look very similar. And then these pages here document the birth of my nephew. He was born in the middle of the pandemic. So my brother and my sister-in-law, they sent us this card, and inside was this little gender reveal star, and it said it's a boy, and I did guess correctly. I did think they would have a boy. And then this is my brother with my nephew, and that was on the day he was born. And then these pages were taken out of another journal. I think I've got a video up on my channel, so you may have seen these pages before. I think the video was called My Current Journal Collection, and in that journal I'd only completed these pages and I knew I wasn't going to use that anymore, so I just decided to take the pages out and put them in this journal. So this is documenting New Year's Day in 2019, and I have a tag in this little glassine bag, and I actually added my journaling on the computer and then printed it out. And then over here is a little flip out page. And this isn't really my style anymore, but then I did document these pages over 4 years ago. So these pages are another example of a couple of pages left at the end of my journal. I didn't want to add much more to them because this journal was getting super chunky, but I also didn't want to leave the pages empty. And I absolutely love this paper. It's by Crepe Paper Maggie Holmes, and I think it's from the Flourish collection. So I added a little black paint and I wrote on top of it with a white gel ink pen, and I just wrote, "It's okay to leave an empty page." So I love this page, so I didn't really feel like I needed to cover it up, but equally I didn't really want to leave it empty either. So I thought this was a nice way to try out something that I've seen other people do but I've never done. And then over here I just added some stickers. And then over here this page was just kept super simple, and I slipped a postcard in the pocket. And I just wrote, "You are allowed to do things differently." And I just journaled it around the flowers. And then on these pages I was documenting about the Book of Mormon theatre show, and I've just got some photos here, and they just slip into the pocket. And then on the back I've just added my journaling on top of a vintage linen. And then there's a little photo of Costa here. And then these pages just document a little bit of Happy Mail. So I got this postcard from London Gifties, and it's got this beautiful embossed design. All of these images here were on the packaging and I just cut them out and stuck them down. And then in this top pocket is a little business card and it just says, "You are awesome." And then over here, these next couple of pages just document a planner event. So this was the Southwest Craft and Planner Meet, and this is my friend Stephanie. She stayed overnight and we were making zines together. So this was her zine that she created for the event. And then over here, I just added some journaling and attached this envelope. On the back here is the ticket. And then inside the pocket are some photos from the event and just our table plan. At the event there was a watercolour workshop and I did some painting. It's not very good, but I decided to include it in my journal just so that I have a record of it. And then on these next few pages I documented my birthday. So we went out the day before my birthday for some food and I just added some photos on the page. I wrote on some ledger paper. I just added some stickers. And then over here I've just got a photo of where we ate, the business card and the receipt. I had an afternoon tea and my parents came round to help celebrate. And I added another one of those project life sleeves with some photos. And then on the back is a picture of me on my birthday. In this pocket, I have some photos of some of the gifts that I received. And this page was actually created in collaboration with Lollipop Box Club. And then this is my birthday cake. And then on this page, I just added some samples of the wrapping paper that was used on my gifts. And then inside the envelope, I have some perfume samples. I did get some perfume for my birthday, so I just included those. And then I also added the birthday card that Dan gave me, and there is a little bit of journaling on note paper there as well. These next couple of pages document a walk to Cadbury Camp, which is a National Trust site, and I just really had lots of photos. And I added a little bit of journaling to a journal card. I have some more photos in this pocket here. And then these pages document me meeting my nephew for the very first time. So you may be wondering why he looked quite old here and why I didn't meet him when he was a little bit smaller. And that's because my nephew was born in the middle of the pandemic and we weren't allowed to go and see him, which was really quite unfortunate, but that was just how it was. But I'm so grateful to my brother because he got this really sweet photo. And then I added some journaling here. And he is about 5 months old here, so it was quite a long time before we were allowed to go and visit. I'm just so grateful that I got to see him smile and have a cuddle with him. And then over here I've just added a photo of my husband. He is making a funny face with some sweets in his mouth. It's just kind of adorable. And then again here there is a photo of Starbuck sniffing our pizza. I just thought that was really cute. And then over here, these couple of pages just document a day out with my mum. We went shopping and we went out for some lunch. This little photo frame pocket here is from Johanna Alyssa. I added some journaling straight on the page, some journal cards, and then this here is the ticket from the car park and I used it to create a pocket. And then inside is just some photos of our food. And this is the receipt. I have a journal process video showing how these pages came together. I added some packaging here. Over here I just added one of my vintage linens and did a little bit of writing. And then here is a little washi swatch page. This is the Heritage collection from Crepe Paper Maggie Holmes. I love doing little swatch pages in my journal because when I run out of that washi tape, I'll still have a little piece of it in my journal. These pages here document a trip to the Emma Bridgewater factory, and I just did some journaling on some vintage ledger paper. And then this photo was taken inside the factory, and these bits here were from the bag that I cut up, and then we've just got the receipt from the 2 pieces I bought inside the factory. And then these pages here document my nephew. My nephew is called Logan and he is absolutely adorable. So because he was born during the pandemic, my brother actually set up a WhatsApp group and he basically sent me and my parents a ton of photos, a ton of videos of him growing up, and I'm so grateful for my brother for doing that. So I've just picked a couple of my favourites. And here you can see he's 1 week old, 12 days, 1.5 months, 2 months, 5 months and 7 months. And yeah, I just love this page so much. So this envelope here was already collaged, but I just added some stickers on here as well, just to make it really pretty. And then at the top here, I've just added some journaling. And it's actually a double pocket. So I can pull this out here. And it just says when he was born. And then on these pages I just added a quote and a photo. And then these next few pages document another planner event I went to. So I've used a lot of the ephemera on the pages. So this was the ticket and I've just created a pocket with it and added some other little bits inside it. I've added this as an extra page, it was part of the leaflet. I've added my vintage linen and some photos of my friends. So this photo here just is a little pocket for another couple of photos. And then again, this was some ephemera from the event. This is a journal card and a photo of my friends. And then when I was at the event, I had a little booklet that I got everyone to sign, but it was too big to fit in here. So in the end, I just cut out what everyone wrote and then stuck it on this page, which is why they're all funny shapes. And then on this page I added an envelope and I've tucked in some vintage ledger paper, which I added some journaling to. And inside the envelope is just a couple of photos. This is some more ephemera we got at the event, and there was also this ribbon that I decided to attach in, and it acts as like a little tab. On this page I have a photo. I met Erin Condren for the first time, and those of you in America will probably know who she is. At the event we all got given these life planners, and I didn't actually use mine, but I did cut out the first page because it was signed by Erin. And then these next few pages document some happy mail and stamps, and I actually have a process video up on my YouTube channel sharing how these pages came together. So this postcard I got in some happy mail, and this piece at the top I got from Grace at Miss Paper Lover Designs. I bought something in her shop and it acts as a fold out. And then this is one of my vintage linens that I did some journaling on top of. And then I just added lots of stamps, and I just really liked how these pages turned out. I actually used some map paper, and as you can see it folds out a few times. And I still have room to add more stamps if I want to, but to be honest I probably won't. I'll just leave it as it is. And then over here this page is just filled with some happy mail. So this was from Katie Moody, and then in this little envelope is a little zine from my friend Stephanie. So there's a little note here, and then another little zine. And I just decided to keep those in the envelope they came in. And then over here is another washi swatch page. It's by Crepe Paper Maggie Holmes, and it's the Flourish collection. And this blue tape here is the very last piece of blue tape that I have. I've actually completely finished the roll, so I'm really happy I've now got a piece of this in my journal that I can look at as many times as I would like to. And then this page just holds a note that my friend wrote and attached it to our fridge. She asked me to text her when I found this. It actually took me an entire week to find this note on the fridge, and I just wrote about it on top of a vintage linen. And this here is a little pocket, and there's a little envelope with some photos inside. And then on the very last page, I just added a journal card which says, "Happiness lives inside the smallest moments." And that's the end of the journal. So that was a look at my completed personal journal. I really hope you enjoyed the flip through and it gave you some ideas and inspiration for your own journal. I love this journal so much, but I am so ready to move into my new one, and a flip through of it will be up on my channel very soon, so stay tuned for that. If you have any questions, please leave me a comment and I'll get back to you. I hope you're all doing really well. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.